I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch network. I want to show you right now a statement that Donald Trump made on his social media platform where he calls for a violent civil war of MAGA cult members against the rest of the country. He certainly overinflates the amount of MAGA cult members, but this is Donald Trump on his social media platform reposting the following message from somebody named 1776 is the handle. And the person, Donald Trump, is reposting this message to all of his cult followers, states the following. Then they will have to figure out how to fight 80 million plus. It's not going to happen again. People my age and old will physically fight for him this time. What we got to lose. I'll donate the rest of my time here on this planet to do it. And I know many, many others who feel the same way. They got my six, and we are locked and loaded. Before you hear my commentary on this despicable, traitorous, treasonous statement that Donald Trump reposted, this is what Connecticut Senator Democrat Chris Murphy posted on Twitter. Chris Murphy wrote, "It will likely get little to no attention today that the current frontrunner for the Republican presidential nomination just told his supporters to start arming themselves for a civil war to overthrow the government in the case he loses. Just Trump being Trump. So quirky." And I think Senator Murphy's statement right there is also an indictment on the large media networks. And that's something we talk about here on the MeidasTouch network, which is large media networks give a variety of justifications for why they don't cover these issues about Donald Trump. And one of the excuses that they give, which I'm somewhat sympathetic to, is, we don't want to give him airtime. We don't want to give him additional attention. But I think that's complete BS. Because they end up still giving him attention, not highlighting the negatives, but highlighting things, and they'll run stories like this. Donald Trump's got a new airplane that he's flying out to New Hampshire, or Donald Trump is holding this event at Mar-a-Lago. They do cover him, and they don't cover the fascism with the appropriate repudiation and disgust that the media needs to hold this out to. And that disgust that we all have at statements like this, we also have the disgust that the media tries to both sides these issues. You can't both sides Republicans and Democrats anymore. These current Republicans are not normal. We just got to call a spade a spade. They are fascists. They are traitors because their conduct is as such. They support insurrections. They support this individual who says this. It is a logical criticism to call a political party a cult that wants to overthrow our democracy when their leader is calling for the overthrow of our democracy through a violent civil war each and every day on his social media platform. It's right there for us all to see. I'll go into the statement a little bit and give you my own additional thoughts. It goes, then they will have to figure out how to fight 80 million plus. It's not 80 million plus. It's probably below 20 million out there. But the fact that the MAGA Republican Party is the Republican Party, that Republicans, I think the normal moderate Republicans, you can't be in that party anymore. They've left. And so now it's MAGA Republicans of people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Kevin McCarthy and Lauren Boebert, and I could go on and on with Paul Gosar, and it'll take me the entire episode if I list them all, but that's who the MAGA Republican Party is. They support this conduct right here. So they go, it's 80 million of us. It's not going to happen again. People my age and older will physically fight for him this time. You physically fought for him last time. The last insurrection was a violent insurrection that fortunately was able to be stopped with no help of any of the MAGA Republicans. I mean, thankfully, with the help of law enforcement, Capitol Police were incredibly brave, was able to stop the insurrection, the violent insurrection that Donald Trump called for. But there was a violent insurrection. So now you're saying it's not going to happen again. It did happen before. People my age and old will physically fight for him this time. What do we got to lose? I'll donate the rest of my time. And then they go, they got my 6 and we are locked and loaded. To that point, you've seen, right? I posted about this, and the tweet that I wrote's been viewed over 1.5 million times as of the time of this recording. But the MAGA Republicans have removed their American flag lapel pins. They no longer wear it. They now wear AR-15 lapel pins. I'm not making this up. Not making this up. They are celebrating school shootings now. The MAGA Republicans with their AR-15 lapel pins replacing their American flag lapel pins. Now, if I were to watch Handmaid's Tale or one of those shows and see that, I'd be like, okay, this is what fascist, dystopian, Orwellian style movie am I watching? But no, this is the United States of America in 2023 with the MAGA Republican Party throwing away their American flags. Because let's face it, the MAGA Republicans hate the American flag. They hate the Constitution. They hate our democracy. They hate what America stands for. And we on the pro-democracy side cannot be afraid to call out these American-hating Republican fascists. We have to call it what it is. Look at those pictures that I just showed you. Look at those pictures. That is who they are. Look at the post I just showed you. And what I do like, though, is with the new Democratic leader, minority leader, Hakeem Jeffries, Democrats are punching back. And we've been seeing Democrats who are on these committees in the minority. You have MAGA Republicans controlling all of these committees. But Democrats are pushing back at these MAGA fascist idiots. And they are saying, you're a fascist. You're a traitor. They're using those terms now, and they are calling them out. I want to show you this one example. This is David Cicilline, Congressman David Cicilline, a Democrat, calling out Matt Gaetz and the MAGA Republicans for their performative resolution that they want to pass, having a MAGA Republican lead the Pledge of Allegiance in the House of Judiciary Committee each and every day. And Democratic Congressmember David Cicilline says, okay, that's great, but may I add an amendment? If you participated in an insurrection, you don't get to lead our Pledge of Allegiance because you are not pledging allegiance to the United States and our Constitution. Roll clip.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Issa just made reference to how important it is for us to display our commitment to the Constitution and to commit to defend it aggressively. So I'd like to offer an amendment to the amendment, adding in the second paragraph where the chair may designate an individual to lead the Pledge of Allegiance, to add the following language. Provided, however, the pledge shall not be led by an individual who supported an insurrection against the government of the United States in any way. Because I think if we adopt this amendment, then we will be truthful in representing that stating this pledge is an affirmation of your defense of democracy and the Constitution. It's hard to take that claim seriously if, in fact, an individual who in any way supported an insurrection against the government of the United States is allowed to lead the pledge. So I would ask Mr. Gaetz to accept this friendly amendment, and I look forward to supporting it.
Would the gentleman yield for
I first ask Mr. Gaetz if he'll support the amendment, to make sure that someone who led an insurrection against the United States doesn't make a mockery of the Pledge of Allegiance and stand before this committee with their hand over their heart claiming to support the Constitution.
Mr. Cicilline, my concern would be if your definition of an insurrection is objecting to electors, then there would be many Democrats on the committee that wouldn't be eligible to lead the pledge, since so many
That's
objected.
Not my definition of an insurrection.
The last Republican president to get sworn in absent Democrat objectors was George Herbert Walker Bush.
Claiming my time, Mr. Gaetz, I will allow the chairman to determine whether or not someone has participated in insurrection in the United States. I think this language is important.
Would the gentleman further yield?
I'm asking Mr. Gates, will you now accept the amendment?
Well, I'm concerned that you may be disqualifying too many of your own members, Mr. Cicilline.
I'm not concerned about that at all. Then agree to the amendment. Let's make this real. If you want to give someone the right to stand before the House Judiciary Committee and lead the Pledge of Allegiance, at a bare minimum, let's guarantee that that person has not participated or supported or in any way helped an overthrow of the government of the United States.
Would the gentleman yield?
It's like a simple proposition.
And I want to show you this one last clip. I could show you a bunch of these. This is Maxine Waters right here. Congresswoman Maxine Waters, who voluntarily agreed that she was going to testify before the House Rules Committee, who introduced this absurd resolution, performative BS, that they were against socialism in all of its forms. And as Maxine Waters said, look, I'm a capitalist, but this is an idiotic resolution because what you're saying, your PPP loans that you all MAGA Republicans took out, that's a form of socialism. What about Medicare and Social Security? So you're saying socialism in all of its forms? What kind of idiotic performative BS is this? She goes, I'm a capitalist, but you're just being stupid. And then you have the MAGA Republican who asked the question, says to her, oh, and he got it handed to him. He goes, what do Vladimir Putin, Kim Jong-un, and President Xi have in common? Maxine Waters took the softball and hit a home run. Play the clip.
Just says everything about my friends across the aisle, that you can't condemn socialism. I mean, in your opening remarks, you were talking about Putin, Kim Jong-un, and Xi. You know what they all have in common, right?
Trump.
Trump? North Korea, China, and Russia?
He loves Kim Jong-un.
That's quite the intellectual leap. I would say communism. Would you like to denounce any communist leaders?
Well, I don't know what you're asking, but let me just... The leader of the Republican Party, Donald Trump, has made often glowing, described authoritarians like Kim Jong-un, who is condemned in the resolution. Regarding North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, Trump said, Kim wrote me beautiful letters, and they're great letters, and we fell in love. You sure you want to hear the rest of this?
So when I see posts by Donald Trump calling for a violent civil war on his social media platform, and I see Democrats fighting back, though, I am proud to be a pro-democracy individual that happens to align with Democrats, an adult political party that's actually dealing with issues, and one of the most important issues, our democracy. Well, meanwhile, the Republican leader is calling for violent civil wars. Got to call it out, folks. Can't mince our words. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Please hit the subscribe button because we are on our way to 1 million subscribers. Thanks to your incredible support. Hit subscribe. And in addition, please check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch. patreon.com/MeidasTouch. I think you'll love the content we have on our Patreon site, but most importantly, it helps grow this independent media platform. So check it out, patreon.com/MeidasTouch. I'm Ben Meiselas, and we appreciate you.
The best part of waking up? MAGA Tears in my cup. Check out the new MAGA Tears mug available now at store.MeidasTouch.com. That's store.MeidasTouch.com. It's 100% union made right here in the USA. I know I'm not tired of winning yet. How about you? Get yours today.